Hi, my name is Mason Alexander Park, and I am currently starring in Much Ado About Nothing at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane by the Jamie Lloyd Company. I found the experience of working on both of these shows to be so exhilarating. I never imagined myself getting to do Shakespeare quite at this level, especially not for the first time, and especially not with this insane company. It's just been a dream. I mean, it's rare that you get to make your Shakespeare debut opposite Sigourney Weaver. It's really kind of a once-in-a-lifetime experience. There's so many roles throughout my career I've been able to play with gender as I've grown and as I've sort of been able to express myself in different ways. And so these two shows have been really, really fun because Shakespeare's always toyed with gender anyway. There's so much mistaken identity in so many of his plays that literally revolve around the concept of gender. And they're incredibly queer pieces of theater, and neither of that really exists in either of these pieces. So it's quite fun to be, you know, a trans individual in a piece where you're just sort of playing a character, and there isn't a discussion around gender, or it really isn't anything, you know, plot-wise that revolves around any of those things. So it's just, I get to be like any other actor in the piece and just play a role in a great piece of theater. Theater has always pushed boundaries when it came to queerness and the representation of queerness on stage. Maybe that's because theater just attracts a lot of queer people in general and gives them an opportunity to write and to direct and to produce. So we can sort of present our own stories more frequently than you might in other factions of the entertainment industry like film or television. But I think theater has this amazing, rich history of, you know, playing with gender and obviously, like, going all the way back to Shakespeare's time. That still rings true today. So it's quite fun to get to play all these different roles that have been imagined by so many different people in various gender expressions and identities. Roles like Hedwig and Frankenfurter that, you know, through a modern lens, we can kind of see them as gender nonconforming characters or as trans characters or however you might, you know, want to prescribe an identity to them. But, you know, at the time, obviously, like, they were incredibly transgressive in a different way. So it's just fun that the reinvention continues to happen and that people can revisit old things and kind of update them a little bit. Sandman is such a special series. That character, you know, was always explicitly non-binary in the comics, and so to be able to bring that to life in the television adaptation and get to play someone that's a part of a story that is so large and so fantastical was just like one of the greatest gifts ever. You know, that those characters are beautifully complicated and remarkably complex and so much fun to play. And this upcoming season, this final season of the show, really dives into the family dynamics way more so than season one. And it was so much fun to film. And I'm really excited for people to get to see more of that character. I would say some of the major queer cultural, like, touchstones for me growing up. I very vividly remember watching Will and Grace with my mom, and the shared familial, like, comfort of interacting with queer storytelling really made me feel safe in who I was and made me interested in exploring who I was as an individual. The fact that was on network television, it was just, you know, happening in my house, and me and my mom would stop, you know, everything to watch it, was such a testament to the power that a show like that had, and was a big inspiration why I ended up doing Quantum Leap on NBC many, you know, now decades later, because of the effect that network television had on me as a kid. There's so many remarkable people in queer history. that goes all the way back to like Ned Kinniston, who was, a Shakespearean boy player who was incredibly well known for playing, female roles on stage. Ray Bourbon and Jim Bailey, who were of different, time periods, one living and becoming famous in the 20s and one later in the 60s as these kind of transgressive, female impersonators that really were at the height of their own fame and in time periods where people don't necessarily remember or think, that was something that was going on. Christine Jorgensen, like the list really is kind of endless. There are so many remarkable trans individuals and non-binary individuals that have contributed to art and to society for hundreds and hundreds, for thousands of years. I think the best advice I could give anyone is just to endure, is to, attempt to be as unapologetically yourself as you possibly can, because your humanity, your experience as a human being adds up to the beautiful fabric of what makes the experience of being on Earth at the same time as, all of these diverse, amazing individuals so exciting and so important. You're part of this larger community that would not look nearly as colorful if you in any way try to dim, who you actually are. So some of the most, punk rock things that we can do as individuals is be unapologetically ourselves.